Breaking news! Dreamworld just announced its brand new upcoming attraction, Lost Mine Mayhem. I was invited to the announcement event, and here's everything you need to know about this new attraction. Dreamworld CEO Greg Yong, along with the help of Kenny, Belinda, Jane and Murray, unveiled the name for the new attraction. Lost Mine Mayhem is a $20 million investment for the park and will see upgrades to the existing Motocoaster track, along with immersive themed storytelling to tie it into the Rivertown area. Full transparency, there was some AI generated concept art which I wasn't a fan of, so I'll try to keep this video focused on the information about the ride. I spoke with Greg Yong about the attraction, and here's what he had to say.
When we look at new attractions, there's options, and one of the options was to close it and put grass there and never go back. And we just thought that we could do an incredible job here with the existing, fundamentals of that ride. It's a brand new launch system, brand new control system, but the track layout as it is today will be the same. We're going to take the entire track down, remediate it, completely repaint it, put it back up again. But what we are doing out in the track, which will be something that we can't talk about just yet, but we're doing some things out in the track to make that ride experience, much more exciting than what it is today. We're obviously mindful that Motocoaster has different fans for different reasons. Every time I ride it and get off and look at families, they have a great time. And so I think we can do a bit more than that. We can really plus that up. And so we're going to do some things out in the ride track itself that'll make it much more exciting as well. So it's an electric tire-driven launch. And so hydraulic launches are getting to be a thing of the past for all different reasons. They're probably less efficient, not as good for the environment, and harder to maintain. So electric launches are all the go these days, or magnetic launches. This is going to do that. I don't want to say that it's going to be a completely different launch experience. I think it'll be, better than what it was. The reason we've really invested in terms of the theming and been a bit careful about how much money we spend on changing the track layout and the launch is we wanted to make sure we tell the story really well. And I think we'll be able to do that because we've got so much of the budget now dedicated to that. In true Dreamworld form, this is about a really great story and really great theming to support that story. And I think over the last few years, as we put new attractions in, you can see that that's what we're all about. And Lost Mine Mayhem is exactly that. So this is a story which kind of flows on from Rivertown. It's all about an undiscovered gold store here in Rivertown. But we're worried about the raiders that are in there trying to get into that store. And so our guests are going to get out there and try to beat them to it on these really great new ATV trains. But the experience and the story will come not just from the ride itself, but all the way through the queue and all the way until you get off and out of the ride as well. Literally from the second that you walk in all the way through, there'll be nods to the story. And again, we want to be for every guest, and some guests will want to look at every single part of this in huge detail, and some people just want to go and get in the ride. What we try to do when we do these things is to think about both guests. Through this experience, you'll see all different sides of that. There'll be some little tidbits about what's going on in terms of the gold store and finding it. There'll be some nods to the mine itself, and there'll be some interactive parts of the queue experience as well, all the way through to the load station. And then on the load itself and the launch, there'll be some new elements and also out in the track as well. There's no doubt that one of the challenges with Motocoaster was that the trains and the restraints were not for everyone. And so if you're a little bit larger or a little bit smaller, it was a difficult ride experience, and that slowed everything down because you got to the front of the ride, even if you used the test seat, and then all of a sudden we had an issue trying to fit you in the restraint. And so what this is doing on these new trains and new harnesses is a very, very different experience, much, much more broad. And so as a result, we think that it'll be much faster in terms of loads, and we won't have all those challenges. And look, absolutely when you're on the Motocoaster in the past, it wasn't the most comfortable position to be in as well. The ATV trains, I've ridden them myself, I've experienced them, and we feel really good about the comfort, the restraint design. The speed of the load will be just much more refined than what it was on Motocoaster. And that's a big part of our long-term strategy here at Dreamworld. We know that there's fundamental things in the theme park experience that we need to get better at as an industry. And one of those is about wait times, and that's about being more efficient when we run our rides. And so it makes sense when you're designing at the start to really think about those things as a part of your first and foremost planning. And I think we've done that with this, and I think we'll get good outcomes once we open. I want to stress the point, we're spending near on $20 million here. So this is not a repaint and stick a new sign up. This is, a significant new investment, and you can expect to see significant changes to what we do here as well. The thing for us is about making sure that we've got a finite amount of money and resources. How do we do the best thing with it? For the general guests and for families, young kids. And I think the things that we're going to do are going to make that more exciting for everyone, much broader, but also a good use of the funds that we have to make sure that we do a great job of this, and that we've got money and budgets for the future to do even bigger things in the next few years here at Dreamworld.
I I think it's a good decision to utilize the existing space and replace Motocoaster with a more modern, comfortable, and immersive riding experience, because it did fill a gap in the ride lineup and it was very popular. I'm also pleased that the Rivertown precinct will become more cohesive, because at the moment the Motocoaster exit gift shop doesn't fit very nicely into the rest of Rivertown, which is so immersive and well themed. While they couldn't give too much away about the ride experience as a whole, if the AI generated concept art is anything to take as an indication of the final product, I think we can possibly expect to see some indoor sections throughout the attraction. Speaking with Greg Yong, the main point he seemed to emphasize was the immersive storytelling and the fact that the storytelling is integrated throughout the entire ride experience from start to finish, including the queue and the facades and everything surrounding the ride, which I'm personally very interested in. To be totally transparent, the use of AI in their concept art does give me some concerns about the attraction as a whole. I hope we don't see AI generated elements throughout the ride. I really want it to maintain the soul of human creativity, but I'm trying to remain cautiously optimistic, looking forward to the potential of what the ride could offer. However, I am a little concerned, to be totally honest, which is difficult to say because I'm grateful for the opportunity to attend the announcement and have the chance to ask some questions about the ride. The use of AI is a very complicated problem because on one hand, I'm aware that the staff at Dreamworld are very passionate and there's lots of creative and talented people there, so I don't want to offend anybody on a personal level, but the main reason I visit theme parks is for inspiration creatively and to enjoy immersive storytelling in the way that I think humans are best at creating. It sounds like there's quite a large investment going into this attraction, and I hope that the AI concept art is an outlier and the rest is human generated. So what do you think? Do you like the sound of it? Do you think it's a good choice to replace Motocoaster with a more current ride system and upgrade to the track and integrate it into Rivertown? And do you like the sound of the theme that they've chosen? Let me know down below in the comments. And a big thank you to Dreamworld for the invite to the event. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to learn more about the behind the scenes and share my updates with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. And before we finish, I'd like to give a huge thank you to the members and sponsors of Team YumYum for supporting my content. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.